This is the new podcast, which is now on iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to the CouncilCast, now with iTunes support. This is episode number 42, being recorded on May 8th, 2018, and straight to your ears on iTunes. At some time later, the council is now in session, and as with
on iTunes?
We will make arbitrary decisions about topics on science, technology, and random shit with little background and next to no expertise, and then post it to iTunes. All CouncilCast decisions are final and have no bearing on anything, but they may affect your iTunes listening habits.
I only have one question.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's iTunes?
It's like Google Play, but for like an inferior product known as Apple.
I thought you were a big Apple fan.
I am. That was sarcasm. iTunes is the only way to listen to podcasts, and actually, it's Apple Podcasts now. It's not even on iTunes. So, sorry to burst everyone's bubble, but we are not on iTunes. We are an Apple Podcast.
And you can find all of our past episodes maybe there, or check out the website.
Check out the website. CouncilCast.org.
And it will maybe respond to your queries.
We have forums, so feel free to continue posting there if you have been.
Forums?
Oh yeah, we have lots of good forums.
And if you like what you're seeing, you can contribute to us on a monthly basis by giving us free cash by mailing it to CouncilCast.
Free cash.
freecash.councilcast.councilcast.org.
I like this free cash idea.
Free cash. Just download some more cash, man. It's easy. It's easy as science, which apparently all you have to do to be a scientist is stare at shit.
Oh, man.
According to what? Like Getty?
Like Getty? Yes. So apparently science, based on a review of stock photos that are specifically targeted at scientists, science is really mostly about staring at things. So I debated putting this in the science category versus putting this in the other cool or weird shit because it makes absolutely no sense. But clearly, this was a very scientific study, so it must go in science.
I was going to say our definition of science has gotten very broad.
So I like basically this is somebody had done a analysis of stock photos that you can get, I'm assuming, at Getty Images, where they basically found out that science is mostly white people staring unusually at colored liquids, but also sometimes chickens and grass.
Well, we need to get never mind. Never mind.
Are you sure? It sounded really good.
It was going to be extremely not appropriate.
And now that we're on iTunes / Apple Podcast.
Yeah, now that we're on iTunes, I can't really.
Don't worry, we pushed the explicit
You
button.
said that
we
mostly just white people staring at colored liquids, and I wanted to say we need to get people of color staring at white liquids.
That's not racist. That's just the opposite of what this article is about.
Yeah, but it's the opposite. Need to inject some diversity into our stock images.
I would agree with that on principle, and in this circumstance, I mean, if I think that it's diversity in general is better.
I mean, I think the thing about these pictures, though, if you really look at them, I mean, I don't know how these people are doing any science. They don't have any notepads. They're not taking any notes.
Yeah, they really do need notes. I mean, iPads would be over the top because let's face it, scientists
can't afford that shit.
Yeah, they can't afford it. And notepads are definitely what they're using to keep track of everything that's of importance in their studies. Why is there are eggs on this table?
I mean, they're trying to figure out how the chicken laid the eggs, I think.
Or which came first, the chicken or the eggs? And I think that it's very obvious. They're all staring directly at the chicken. So obviously it came first and then the eggs.
Must be the case. I mean,
I'm glad everyone listening can see all the pictures. So
yeah, if you want to look at the pictures, go to councilcast.org and
we'll have them up in the show notes.
A picture on the show notes. Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to give all of these thumbs down.
I'm gonna give it a thumbs down too, because I mean, stock photos are hilarious.
Matt?
I don't know. I'm gonna just kind of stare at my thumbs up. Let's see where that goes.
Be very scientific about it. I appreciate that.
You look very scientific. I'm not
I
sure
thought so.
if we're actually doing science now. I mean, this might have just become a science
I feel like I just did a science.
I do too. Maybe that's why I'm sleepy.
All must be tired now. We need a power up, which could be coming from the next NASA thing, which is a portable nuclear reactor to provide you some power.
Nice.
So
is it going to be like Mr. Fusion Back to the Future 2?
I mean, that's the only thing I can imagine this is they just made it real.
Nice.
They predicted it and they made it. So, I mean,
so
it's
you're
real.
telling me that Mark Watney wouldn't have to go dig up the power source on whatever rover it was that he...
Well, that's not a guarantee. He probably still would have to do that, but the idea is that they now have tested a portable nuclear reactor, which they say pushes out about 10 kilowatts, which is really enough to power a basic toaster.
One reactor?
One reactor.
Oh, good.
Why
don't they just pack extra batteries?
Sounds like we're gonna need a few.
How big is it?
It's real. I don't know if they tell this the actual size.
I mean,
but
they have kind of a picture here, but
they talk about how compact it is, and I'm assuming that this thing is like the size of a briefcase, if you ask me. So
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that must be the correct size. Oh yeah, it's definitely like, if you look at the video, it's pretty small.
Oh yeah.
It's like, I don't know, maybe the size of a case of beer.
Oh, here we go. This is the goods.
But I think the biggest deal here is that they're talking about being able to take these to Mars, and yeah, it doesn't put out a ton of power, but you bring a bunch of them with you, and you can hook them all up. And so instead of having to rely on solar power or, I don't know, human-based power, because that's a thing, you can actually just bring these nuclear reactors with you and just use them. But the really unique thing is that it's not only is it a portable reactor, which really isn't a thing that people think of, it's the first reactor that's actually been developed in the United States for over 40 years.
Really?
Yeah.
I read these articles thoroughly before we start.
And so they actually did a full power test. They ran it for 20 hours at full power output with 0 issues. So they basically are saying this thing is 100% robust. It's good to go. We can probably, build these in mass and put them in people's cars and drive around with nuclear power on Mars or something like that. Maybe they just maybe this is what Tesla needs to make their cars go further.
Go forever.
Go forever.
Seems legit.
Maybe Elon Musk could actually drive his Tesla to Mars with one of these.
He couldn't record it though. Not without paying a hefty fine.
Well, just don't videotape Earth, videotape Mars.
Yeah, nobody's put sanctions on. Nobody's claimed Mars yet.
There's actually rules about what we can claim in space.
Who set it up? The Federation?
Everybody's signed, like all space. I don't know. I have to look it all up again.
Space people.
Yeah, but the people that are like doing spacey things,
the
have
Empire
all signed this treaty of some kind that is like, we won't. So you can't show up and be like, I own this part of the moon. Yeah.
But what if what if is that just countries that signed up for it? Because what if an individual was just like, I'm just going to show up and this is now my moon? I mean, that's how it worked back when the colonies were happening, right?
Pretty much. I would think that if Elon Musk shot himself up into space and brought supplies and just started building a moon station, and then he said, "This is now Tesla land," like people
I mean,
be like,
who's gonna?
"Okay, man, you can live up there, do whatever you want."
I mean, what if he did? What if he showed up and he was like, I built this base and he has a bunch of these little nuclear reactors and then he built a
Yep.
missile system and then he's like, this is my place. And when people are like, nah, it's not, he's like, come at me, brah.
Yeah, I mean, if he develops an economy up there and a and defense, pretty much he could have his own. I mean, it wouldn't be a planet,
You know,
but he could have his own moon.
you know, the real issue probably is, the difference between this and what happened with the colonization of the world is that he wouldn't show up on the moon or Mars and kill an indigenous people, so it might not be legit.
But I mean, if that's the way you're measuring it, if that's your unit of measure, sure. But I think if he just like maybe squatters' rights apply here. If he just lived on the moon long enough, people would be like, yeah, that's Tesla's home. We can't be bothered to go up there, but he's having a blast.
Yeah, is it like a statute of limitations? Like you lived here for 8 years and it's common law now?
Would it be Muscany? What would you call that?
Elon land?
Elon land.
Did you say Muscany as a play on Tuscany?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we're real sophisticated here. You know what? I like this thing because I think that if they've already invented this, it's going to give us the opportunity to eventually have Mr. Fusion, and we can throw garbage in the back of our cars and go forever. So, thumbs up.
I give it a thumbs up too because I like more nuclear reactors.
You're scaring me, Blaine.
Got to replace power somehow.
Damn, Blaine, you scary.
Ouch.
Do you know what else is scary?
Made
That
my
the
face.
UK police. Go ahead. I'm bad at these.
What might be scary is that my face causes false positives in facial recognition software.
Why? Okay, go ahead. Explain it. You have
the UK. There is the British police. They apparently have been using some facial scanners in South Wales, and they use them to pretty much just like scan everybody and basically say whether or not you were doing something illegal. And it turns out that the facial recognition actually is about 92% false positive.
You know what we call that in my job?
Tell us.
Garbage data. It's garbage. You can't do anything with something that has a 92% false positive rate.
Well, apparently, if you're the South Wales police, you can, because they have actually made arrests based on this data. And in fact,
I wouldn't even need a lawyer.
And in fact, they have arrested over 450 people as a result of this in the last 9 months.
It sounds like they're like what it sounds like is having been to South Wales several times, that they were just like, you know what, we know a bunch of these people are doing bad stuff, and so let's just come up with a fake reason to go after them because we're bored. Like, that's honestly what I think is the culprit here. Boredom. And boredom.
Yeah, I think Matt's case is right. I mean, with a 92% false positive rate, that is absolutely ridiculous to be able to say that this is something you should really use.
Big Brother, though, I'm actually reading 1984 right now. Never read it before.
Was Big Brother 92% false positive?
The Thought Police were.
I just think this is a pretty big invasion into people's privacy, and if it's not going to work right, then don't use it. Make
I mean,
sure your
I
shit
understand.
works.
I mean, I understand the premise, right? That if there are, and we're already using this in some cases, for instance, around ATM machines, we want there to be protection around places that could potentially be at a higher risk for crime. If the criminals know that at the ATM machine they will have their faces detected and will be able to be positively identified if they try to steal people's money, murder, blah blah blah, etc. Bad things at the ATM. So on that pretense, I completely understand the idea for this technology. If they can positively identify people immediately with this technology, then that cuts down the rate of possible crimes even faster. But when it's 92% false positive, who cares? And number two, if they're just putting them all over the place willy-nilly, what is the
What are they
point?
doing?
They're
I,
just dicking around for no reason.
Yeah, to kind of go along with that, I mean, it would be like walking up to the ATM and then just getting arrested for taking money out of your own account because it
Yeah.
flagged you as being a robber.
You look
And-
suspicious. So.
And then second of all, I agree. What are they doing? Are they just have facial recognition cameras like on every street pole? And it's like, you jaywalked, you're gonna get arrested, and oh, you dropped a piece of trash, you're arrested. I mean, what are they
Probably.
looking for? I mean,
What happens when it recognizes all the Kool-Aid Man shirts that everyone is wearing as faces?
That's probably what was going on.
that might be it.
Oh
You
my
might be
God,
onto
that's
something.
it.
Oh,
Somebody tell me.
all those sleepy face, the shirts with Mr. Sleepy on them.
Speaking of the UK government, I
Yes.
have a ticket upstairs from the UK government for driving in a bus lane when we were in Scotland.
They found you and they sent it to you?
It's apparently a thing.
Well, there you
If
go.
you don't pay it, basically, from my understanding of that situation, what happens is you just get in trouble next time you go back there. Like, the United States is not going to.
Not necessarily. Like the car rental company has forwarded it on, so like they could be like, well, all they did was forward on my information to them.
Yeah.
I doubt the car company got fined for it.
Probably not. I don't know.
But
It's hard to tell.
Anyway,
how much was it for?
Cost 60 pounds sterling to drive in the bus lane.
Doesn't seem worth it.
I didn't know that was an issue. This was like the middle of night. There was nobody, and I didn't know this was a thing. Like
it doesn't seem like public transportation is all it's cracked up to be there. Then, huh? If you drive in the bus lane, get in trouble for it.
Well, so there's a thing.
I just didn't realize this was a thing. I didn't realize I couldn't be in that lane. I guess that's fine.
Well, I guess that's the thing, though, too, is with those always-on scanners. I mean, I get it. You're breaking the law because you're in the bus lane. But at the same time, if it's the middle of the night, there's literally nobody there.
Yeah.
What harm is it if you're in that lane versus the other lane and you didn't even know it?
Yeah.
But there's an automated system there to catch you doing it. So you know what? It just gets you both ways, I guess.
Yeah. Did it catch your face, though?
Nope.
Well,
license plate.
That's unfortunate. Yep. It's a direct number rather than possibly you. 92% false positive.
Just claim it wasn't you.
It wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Well, I'm going to give this... This is how I feel about it.
Thumbs down, but also a thumbs up to the Shaggy song.
And thumbs up to South Wales, just for existing. Nice job, guys.
For being a thing. One place that might not scan your face, but might charge you more, is the Apple stores if you want to go get your iPhone battery replaced. So if you remember, a while back, we had talked about the iPhones and how Apple was throttling them based on battery usage, and that was a whole big thing. And then they came out and said, well, just kidding, guys. We're going to allow you to change your battery for $30 or whatever. So it turns out that you can do that. Absolutely. They will charge you $30 to replace your battery. However, first, they require that you fix everything else wrong with your phone. And they will charge you for that, and then they'll charge you $30 to fix your battery. And in some cases, people are being told that they have to fix things that aren't even wrong. So if you have any issue with your iPhone and you're okay living with it being an issue, but you want your battery replaced, you might be better off going somewhere else, because Apple might force you to fix it first.
This goes back to our conversation last week, I think, where we were talking about the making it illegal to say you can't have this fixed by other people or it voids warranty.
Oh, the warranty, yeah. Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, I think.
So I would second what you just said. Take it somewhere else. Steve Jobs would be pissed.
He is just rolling over in his grave right now. He is so pissed that people aren't paying more money for his phones.
Yeah, I mean, the way he would have fixed the issue is like, oh, well, those batteries are bad. Well, sucks
Buy
to
a
suck.
new phone.
The next, buy a new phone. That's what he would have said. Like, this would not have been a thing. He wouldn't be nickel and diming people. He would just be price gouging them from the very beginning.
You know, actually, he would say the battery isn't at fault, and
yeah, he would.
Actually, your guys' fault.
It's your fault. The way you use the phones ruined the battery. If I've had these batteries are meant to last as long as they need to, and apparently you've used it to its limit, so it's your fault.
Yep.
Thanks, Steve.
I just think this is a pretty shitty deal, because I mean it's kind of crappy if you're like, oh yeah, I just need to get the battery replaced, but my back glass is cracked or something. And you're like, I'm totally fine living with the glass being broken, but they're like, nope, got to fix that first. And I could easily see you racking up couple $100 worth of repairs before they're like, okay, now we can actually replace your battery.
So, yep, I believe that. And you're like, oh, well, maybe it's better to buy a new phone. Maybe you should. That's what I would recommend you do.
Yeah, this it's a year old. You probably should buy a new one. They're going to come out with a new one next month, so you should probably just wait and buy that one. Buy two of them, actually. Buy one now and buy one in a month.
You never know.
But it does go back to the whole warranty thing and being able to fix stuff yourself. And I mean, if you can do it, if you feel comfortable doing it, I think the company should just not allow you to do it. But also the third-party service people can do it too without voiding warranty, which this is a pretty shitty deal. So I give it a thumbs down.
Sucks to suck, Apple. We're giving you a thumbs down. You know what this counts for?
Double thumbs.
Double. Hey, Matt, where's our intro?
Yeah, I didn't make it.
Well, we actually have an ability to throw it onto the Apple iTunes version.
You can put an intro on all your podcasts?
Yeah, you can.
Oh.
So keep that in mind while you're working on it. Make sure it's real good.
Real double good.
What also is double good is that Hulu is going to, for everybody who watches Hulu, they are going to start allowing you to download shows for watching offline.
It's pretty kick-ass. I use Hulu. Thumbs up.
Kind of like, so they're getting on the bandwagon with Netflix and Amazon. But the big deal here is that not only are they allowing you to download it, but if you even have a free account, you can actually still download the episodes.
Comes with the ads as well, presumably.
It does. It does still have ads, but it is the first service that has a free tier that allows you to download something.
That's kick-ass, actually.
Which is pretty awesome. I appreciate it. I use Hulu all the time, so being able to do this and download a whole bunch of episodes of a TV show is perfect for me. Especially stuff that's current. I'm not sure what the limit is. They don't really talk about what is going to be available and what's not. Presumably, just like Netflix has some limitations on stuff that can and cannot be downloaded. But if you can download stuff that's currently airing, that'd be a pretty sweet deal. I give them a thumbs up for doing it. And also, if you do pay for the no ad version, you will also not get ads on your downloaded version. So
Nice.
for everybody who's doing that,
That's the way it should be. That's the way you got to do it.
it's the way to do it. You swipe right on everything, and it makes everything better.
Absolutely.
And if you can't swipe right on anything else, you just make your own Facebook dating app.
Done.
Yeah, I think this is Mark Zuckerberg probably trying to get into the dating game again. I can only imagine.
Wow.
Poor guy.
But the big deal here is that, how do you say this? Facebook's event, the F8, or is it the Fate conference?
It's probably fate.
I was thinking about that.
And they'll do stuff like lower the lights real down. They'll be like, fate has brought you here today.
Oh, brother.
And everybody will be like, oh my God.
Not again, Mark.
Yeah.
God, shut up.
It was fate last time.
So rather than swiping right, do you poke people like right away? Is that just like
that is what's up?
And if you both poke each other, then you know it's fate or whatever.
We see you haven't poked
You know it's fate.
in a while. Maybe you should poke Anthony. Yeah,
I
maybe
think
I should.
I'll go poke Anthony right now. Be like, poke CouncilCast, poke.
Boom. Poked.
So apparently Mark Zuckerberg described the service as being totally opt-in, dude, and that it is totally not for hookups.
Totally opt-in, dude.
I imagine that's how Mark Zuckerberg talks. I mean,
Yeah.
That's exactly.
He was like,
what it
hello,
says.
fellow kids.
hello, youths. I am here to tell you about my new Facebook dating app.
All the cool kids are doing it.
Amazing.
But
Youths.
I'm
this is
just.
just them trying to take on Tinder and trying to do it better than Tinder, but I just don't understand how anybody is going. Does anybody want another Tinder, I guess?
Oh yeah, I need like 3 or 4 more Tinders.
Yeah, everyone on Tinder already knows me, so actually I've swiped right to all of the clientele on Tinder, so I just need another dating app so that I can. I mean, if I have the possibility of swiping right to the 3rd largest country on planet Earth, then yes, I could swipe right to everyone. That would be amazing.
I mean, I wonder how this, is this going to connect you to, anybody on Facebook, or is it just, a thing for you to go and hit on your friends?
Awesome. I think it would be great if it would connect you to everyone on Facebook, and then you could be like, hey.
How you
I
doing?
And then I poked you. Do you want to poke me back? Let's poke each other. This is just, I don't know. This is like the first time that I felt like I'm going to say something that feels like an old man would say, but why do we need so many more of these?
I don't know.
It's like, I mean, I feel like I'm thinking about it from physical goods in the past, because we've had iterations of the same product over and over and over and over again. We have 500,000 different types of cereal. Do we need that many different types of cereals? No, but it's nice to have a choice. And it's also something that we physically consume. All of these other things are not things that we're physically interacting with in any way other than with a couple of taps of our thumbs or clicks of our desktop mice or Apple trackpads like I'm using right now. But it doesn't provide, this is providing a service of sorts. I mean, yeah, I met Kayla, my wife, on an online dating thing, but no, it wasn't Tinder.
Was it Facebook?
I did several weddings. I filmed several weddings for people who met on Tinder. And in their vows, all of them said, "I'm so glad you swiped right." I'm like, oh man, that's the exact same line I heard last week. Yeah, it's so cliche. But I just feel like there's no way that you're creating a better thing here. I feel like with food, you have different tastes that you can come up with. Oh, well, I like this chocolate, but you added mint to it. Yum. Or I know with shoes, you can be like, I like the way that one's designed. I guess it's the same thing, but I don't know. Maybe because I don't need it anymore. I'm just really bored with it.
Well, and I think it's an interesting idea, and I think that Facebook could potentially do something interesting with it because they do have probably more data and more real data about people than like Tinder. Like the people on Tinder are probably,
Yeah, we
gonna
know
make up a
Facebook
bunch
has
of
a lot
shit.
of data on us.
And so, they do have a lot of data to help get people to know each other maybe more. But at the same time, do you really want to give Facebook more data to make you meet somebody else? I mean, they seem to have plenty enough the way it is and keep getting in trouble for it. So,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think that there are people who definitely make connections via this, but you have to look at the target age. It's like they're making they're making the first online dating app for people who are divorced and in their 40s and 50s. That's what they're doing because that's the majority of the people who are using Facebook.
Do you not remember Ashley Madison?
yes.
What?
For the demographic you just described.
Yeah, actually, the demographic that he described was people who are divorced. Ashley Madison was for people who wanted to get
Oh.
hookups. They were still married.
I see. Yes. That's the cheating website. This is like the 40s and 50s divorcees.
And you have no friends, but you're Facebook friends with 1,000 people, so you want
Yep.
to just poke some people.
Yeah, you want to poke them. You want to poke them, and you want them to poke you back.
Yeah.
I'm very conflicted.
I can't wait until they come out with an Instagram dating app next.
I will give it no pokes. How about that?
I give it a thumbs down, and I really don't think this is going to take off at all. I would be surprised if it does.
It will take off. It will take off because they're going to
know.
market it to the demographic that I said, and that is what's going to happen. But it's not going to be a young person dating app.
I guess we'll wait and see.
We will, and luckily we have this recorded on iTunes, so we can come back to it in a year and look at it and say, Silas, you were so wrong, or Silas, high five, you deserve it.
In our review of the year episode, we can talk about how accurate.
So excited for that.
Was.
So excited for that.
We'll do them every 5 years.
Every 5 years, a year in review. We have to get a year's worth of episodes. And by a year's worth, I mean 365 episodes before we can consider having 1 year of CouncilCast.
Every 365 episodes, we will do a year in review.
Oh, man, we got a long way to go.
Long way to go, but it's a good thing that we're on iTunes because you can now listen to all of them as they come out.
Yay.
And with that, the council meeting is adjourned. If you liked what you saw and want to check out all past episodes of the CouncilCast, you can go to thecouncilcast.org. All of our podcasts are recorded live on YouTube. You can sign up for a notification link if you go to the website councilcast.org, or you can also subscribe to us on iTunes. If you have a topic you'd like the council's decision on, you can email us at councilcast@gmail.com or connect with us on Twitter at the CouncilCast or Facebook by searching for CouncilCast, but you cannot poke us and we will not be on the dating app unless you ask nicely. Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.